Hi, Saqib. Welcome to Tea Talks.
My pleasure, totally.
I'm actually quite a big fan of yours. I found you on Insight Timer, which is
Mhm.
for people that don't know, it's a free meditation application that people can listen to different types of meditation whenever they want. And I found yours actually. I think it was a sleep meditation that you did, and that was how I first got to know you. So
Mhm.
Saqib Rizvi is on Insight Timer, and on Insight Timer you describe yourself as a meditation and emotional healing coach. For anybody that isn't familiar with meditation and this type of coaching, how would
Hmm.
you explain that to them? How would you explain what it is that you do?
Yeah, sure. So, um, I have seen a lot of people experiencing therapy or experiencing, psychotherapy or any of those modalities, talk therapy. What I've seen is that it has not worked for a lot of people because talking for long durations, what I feel doesn't help with emotional healing, and that's why I mentioned emotional healing coach because I feel that to heal our emotions, it's important to feel our emotions and to face those emotions and to to observe those emotions with awareness, with consciousness. So what I felt was, because I have been through therapy myself, what I realized was that it did not work much, because talking, I feel, takes us away from allowing ourselves to feel those emotions. And that's why I believe you would have also seen, a lot of people who talk about emotions, but the healing does not happen for them. A lot of our friends are like that, who talk about emotions a lot of time, and sometimes we are like that, where we talk about our emotions a lot of times, but it doesn't seem to work. So what I felt, there was a need of meditating on it. There was a need of integrating meditation. So through meditation, what I do is, in the one-on-one sessions, I yes, there is a bit of talking. Yes, there is explaining, of what you are feeling. For example, if we
Mm-hmm.
are having a one-on-one session, then you will tell me, okay, what is it that you are experiencing right now? That talking will be for a while for me to understand that what you are experiencing, and then I will be offering you a customized meditation for that in that moment, so that you can feel those emotions, so that you can consciously observe those emotions, bring those emotions to the surface, and then release those emotions.
My next question was going to be, how did you get into this? And you mentioned a little bit about going through therapy yourself, but and it not working for you.
Hmm.
So how did you get to the point of it's not working, and then that you're now able to form this? I mean, how did those two, how did that bridge
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah. So back in so I'm right now in Canada, and back in
Okay.
India, I experienced some challenges myself in my childhood. I had challenges with my parents, and I had to go through uh, some therapy, but it did not work for me, because it did not have a solution to it. It was just about kind of discussing it on the intellectual level. And what I feel is that when we are just intellectualizing it, we are just in our thoughts at
Mm-hmm.
that time. We are not allowing ourselves to feel that. At one point of time, I got trained myself in meditation, in the Buddhist tradition. So at that time, the healing happened for me.
When you said that in the so in Buddhism, is that something that you were brought up on? Or was it
No,
completely new for you? And how
it
did you
was
find that? How
it
did
was
you
completely
find
new.
Buddhism?
So that's a good question. I was working, in my corporate job, I was working as a marketing manager, and that was a very stressful job for me. It led to some health issues, especially high blood pressure. And what I realized was that this is not working. I need to leave my job and I need to take care of my health. I thought that, okay, what is the solution to this? And somehow, because in India, meditation is not a new idea. It's not something which just recently developed. It's an age old practice.
Yeah.
So whenever I would ask someone, even if I would go to a doctor and get medicines from the doctor for high blood pressure, the doctor will secretly tell me, okay, also meditate. That will help.
So you started meditating. You entered in the Buddhist
Yeah.
practice,
Hmm.
and then what happened? What happened that completely turned you into a meditation coach?
Yeah, it was. I went for this 10-day retreat in the Himalayas, and just in 10 days, I experienced a lot of transformation by meditating. I felt more. I didn't know. I did not check my blood pressure after that retreat, but I felt more relaxed inside, and I knew that there is a healing that is going on. So I decided to come back and get trained in meditation as a teacher. And within 6 months of doing these meditation practices with the monks in the in the Buddhist monastery in the Himalayas, my blood pressure was gone totally. So this is how I realized that there is a lot of power to this, and not only blood pressure, not only about health, but there were also some deep spiritual experiences. So I thought that this is something amazing, and I decided to just give up my work and become a meditation coach.
Hearing that you are in marketing and now and listening to you, I fall asleep to a lot of your meditations. So I'm very used to the sound of your voice, and you've got,
Mhm.
in my opinion, my personal opinion, you have a very calm voice. And
Thank you.
I think when you're choosing a meditation, not all, it's a very personal thing,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to it sounds simplistic, but you have to like that person's voice. That person's voice has to be calm for you. So it's crazy that I've been listening to your sleep meditations, and to know that you actually worked in marketing is quite funny, actually. So, we've all been in a pandemic situation, and it's led me during these last few years, as well as when I have stress or anxiety, I've been using meditation as a tool,
Mm.
and it's a very good tool to use. Sometimes it can be a bit temporary for me, but something that I've come across, especially over the last year or so, is the subject of manifestation. And it's not something that in the academic community people speak about, or I haven't come into many conversations about that. So this is where things get a little bit more tricky when we're trying to, because we know that meditation does, we know scientifically, doctors in the UK are recommending it in Western medicine. Meditation's happening in schools,
Yeah.
but then there's the manifestation side of things.
Mm.
And I've been looking into this for the last, quite heavily for the last year, different people talking about it. And I've come across some of your manifestation tracks. Um, so let's start with just defining manifestation itself, because I'd be really interested to know how you define it.
Sure, sure. Yeah, manifestation is, for me, it's the idea that the world around me is a reflection of my consciousness. If we talk about science and quantum physics in the in the early 20th century, there were some experiments done in quantum physics, and especially one of those experiments was about it's called the quantum double slit experiment. So there is a Copenhagen interpretation to these experiments, which means that it is not the world outside of us that creates our consciousness, which was the older belief that somehow the world has created us, but it is the idea that my consciousness creates the world around me. My consciousness creates the reality around me, because these experiments were such that the consciousness had to be involved in them. Without consciousness being involved, these experiments had different results. So, what I realized was that everything that I'm seeing around me and everything that I'm noticing around me is a reflection of my own consciousness. So to change my reality, to change the world around me, I have to change my consciousness. And if, for example, if I have a victim consciousness, and if I am into complaining and blaming, then that's what I will get, right? If I keep telling myself that it's so difficult to earn money, for example, or it's so difficult to find love, then that will happen. It's there is I will that will reflect in my reality. My consciousness, is telling me that this is what is going to happen in my reality.
Do we know that happens though? For example, let's just take the easier one
Hmm.
of it's like, for example, it's so difficult to earn money, or it's so difficult to find love. That's
Hmm.
quite so if you say that, but then let's say that somebody met someone the next day, or
Hmm.
or if you're thinking it's really easy to earn money and it's really easy to find someone, but you don't. And I mean, how can we measure that? It's so difficult. These are the things that I've been, thinking about um, when practicing or listening to manifestation tracks.
Yeah, it's as I said, this is this is called Copenhagen interpretation in science, which is not the mainstream interpretation. Mainstream science still doesn't talk about, as you know, manifestation, right? So we don't have enough experiments to uh, to objectively prove that. Although we do have experiments with in terms of healing, where distant healing has worked or prayers have worked. We do have those experiments, and we do have those results in which we are setting an intention and it is working out. The person is getting healed. To be more like to see that in the more mainstream world, I think you will know about placebo effect and epigenetics. In placebo effect, whatever you believe about the medicine, that will happen, right? So for those who don't know about placebo effect, a placebo is a sugar kind of a sugar pill, and a sugar pill, if you are not told that this is not an actual medicine, this is just a sugar pill, and if you take it believing that it is a medicine, you actually start healing. So this is kind of a manifestation happening, and there are now a lot of proof. There is a lot of proof for that. But when it comes to simply the philosophy of it, I believe that the whole industry of law of attraction is based on this. The idea that whatever frequency you vibrate on, you attract that frequency to yourself. And
Mm.
I think many of us can test this in our life. For example, if just a basic, if someone wants to try this, if you keep telling yourself right now that I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick. If you repeat that for like a few minutes, you'll start actually feeling sick. But if you keep telling yourself that I am love, I am healthy, and if you keep repeating these statements, you start actually feeling good.
Mm.
So we don't really need actually, we don't have to wait for science to prove it. We can test it ourselves and we can see. And this is the reason a lot of manifestation meditations work. When you do the meditation after that, you actually feel good and you feel
Mm.
empowered, and many people do manifest things.
It's a really interesting concept. It gives a lot of people hope. One of your manifestation tracks, Manifesting Happiness, a 20-minute track. It's a really interesting concept because the way that you explain it, actually, I really like it. The be do have model. I really like the way that can you explain that to the listeners? What you mean by the be do have model? Because
Yeah,
I think it's best coming from you.
yeah, sure. And this is not my model actually. This has been told by many people before. Especially Neil Donald Walsh in his book Conversations with God. He explained this concept. but I like to have it like my own way and explain it my own way.
Yeah.
So I'll do that. So be do have model is the idea that first the let's talk about the current model. The way we human beings function. The current model we have is the have do be model, in which we think that we need to have something first. For example, we need to have money first. I first need to have money, and then I will do what I want to do, and then I will be happy. So we have kind of delayed happiness in the future, and it keeps
Mm.
getting delayed because it becomes difficult to first have, and then then take that step to do things. So basically, the happiness keeps getting delayed. The idea of this meditation manifesting happiness is that we switch that and we do a be do have model, the reverse model instead, in which we become happy, we be happy first, we build that feeling of joy, health, happiness, love within ourselves, and then we then we do what we want to do, and then we have what we sorry.
So we're doing because when we're, do you agree in my way of interpreting that? Because you're feeling those positive things, your actions will be more positive, which will lead to,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
rather than worrying or
yeah, so just as an example, the be do have model. Let's say in the morning you wake up, and there are two ways you can tell things to yourself. If you tell, okay, first I will have accumulate money, and then I will do something that I want to do, and then I will be happy. So that is one way, and that creates a lot of stress. So I first have to earn money and do something. But if I'm waking up with this feeling of abundance in myself and gratitude, if I fill myself with this feeling of joy and happiness and tell myself that I am abundant, within myself, I don't have to wait for something from outside to make me feel abundant. I can feel abundance. I am whole. I am happy. I'm joyous. I am grateful for that. Now, what will happen with that high vibration? You'll start doing things with more. If you will be more effective in doing things. You will work happily. You will be more mindful. You will be more joyful, and automatically, if you are doing things with that energy, you will start having things what you want to have. So this is just an example.
it's a very simple model, and it's something that, looking for happiness, starting with yourself first. I think it's something that
Hmm.
we do here traditionally, but I really like the way that this simple way that you've put it in that manifestation. um I would like to talk about the challenges and that I've experienced, perhaps because I imagine that you get this all the time with people that you mentor. You might do. I assume that you do. I don't think it would be unique. So one of the challenges that I found with this sort of manifestation is, in the moment,
Hmm.
or in temporarily, you
Hmm.
can, let's say you can be at that higher vibration, you can feel really good,
Yeah.
but then you might have like a dip. Let's just say, for example, we're talking about money or love, or those, the classic things that people want to change their job, they want a better job, or they want to find love in their life, or
Yeah.
and then it's not happening.
Hmm.
And you might have a dip where you feel lonely one day, or you didn't get that interview that you went for, and then you're like, you naturally feel that feeling,
Hmm.
and then you'll feel guilty that you're not on that higher vibration, because it's like, oh no, I'm feeling this thing, or I'm thinking about my ex, or I didn't get that job interview, it's getting me down, but I should be on this higher vibration. Now it's not going to happen for me, and now it's going to get delayed even more.
Hmm.
Is this a common thing that you find with people that are trying to manifest and it's not happening? Um,
Hmm.
it's taking, I don't know if it's taking, or life, or whatever, because I'm not sure exactly how I feel. But how can you, if you get those sorts of questions, do you get those a lot? Do you get those kind of people saying these types of things?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is what you have pointed out. It's is a very important and common problem actually. And what I realized was that, and it happened with me as well when I started out with intentionally manifesting things. What I realized was that when I'm putting an intention and I'm raising my vibration and all those things, there is also an attachment to the outcome, which means that if I'm, for example, I'm saying, okay, I I wish to, I want, let's say I'm in love with someone and I'm saying that I want this person in my life, and I'm manifesting, I'm thinking about this person, I'm, visualizing that I'm with this person driving in a car and all those things, and I'm feeling love in my heart. But the very idea of wanting this specific person in my life also creates a sense of attachment to this person, which means that I will not be happy if I don't get this person. This is what I'm telling myself, that I won't be happy, or somehow only this person is important and no one else, or I will be miserable if I don't get this person. So what's happening is that intention itself is creating a sense of attachment, which leads to fear that what if I don't get this person. So what I realized that a very important aspect is in manifestation is to not be too specific about things, because when I'm saying that I want this person, then I'm trying to control, in the sense that this person might not be the right person for me,
But
so
what if it's a case of you're unemployed and you want to get a job,
yeah,
or what if
yeah,
it's a case of that it's not so specific, or it's that you're single and you want to have
yeah,
love in your life,
yeah,
and it's not happening, and you're trying to do these manifestations and you feel like it's not happening, and then you do get disappointed, or if you
yeah,
didn't get that job, or if you went on that date and
yeah,
you didn't find that connection with the person. How do you deal if it's not so specific? Does the same apply in
yeah,
terms
absolutely.
of
So let's take the example where you said, okay, if it's not about the specific person, but it's about being in relationship with someone in general.
yeah, in general?
Now, in that case, also, I'm trying to control the outcome, because what if not being in a relationship is the right thing for me right now? What if I'm meant to be single right now, because maybe there is some healing which is not done. So when I'm, let's say, now what I'm doing is, and I've seen this, with some of my friends, and at some point of time in my life with myself also, that I tried to manifest a relationship, and that happened, but then it didn't work out well for me, because
Yeah.
I was not healed myself. I needed that time in my singlehood to heal myself. And also in case of, let's say, a job, if I'm trying hard to manifest a job, maybe it is now time for me to let go of jobs and start my own business, and but I'm too much attached to the idea that I want a job. So these are kind of shortcomings of getting attached to the outcome. The most important thing that happens is that it creates a sense of fear. The very act of desire, the paradox is that the very act of desiring something also creates a fear around it, that I might not get it, and a feeling of lack, that somehow I'm not
Mm.
complete in myself, I need something from outside to fulfill, to fill myself up. So what I believe, to overcome all these challenges in manifestation, the most important step is surrender, in which I make an intention, and then I let go of that. For example, if I'm saying that, and I'll give you the example of relationships. At one point of time, I made this intention, okay, I intend to have a loving relationship. But then I also said that whenever it is right for me, I'm not controlling when it should come into my life. And even if it is not right for me right now, I'm okay with that.
Mm.
So I'm telling the universe that I trust you, I trust your guidance, I have faith in you. So if it is right for me, bring it to me. If it is not, then I'm okay with it. So when I have kind of surrendered to the universe, I have faith in the universe that whatever is right for me, the universe will bring it to me. So
And what happens if, let's say, you've said that, and a couple of years pass, and you have those feelings that you feel lonely, for example?
yeah.
What do you, because obviously I think a lot of listeners would be interested in this. What would you be saying to you? What would you be thinking when you have those thoughts? What do
Hmm.
you what would you say to yourself? What would you how would you cope with that? Or do you not have those thoughts once you've completely surrendered?
The paradox is that when I have surrendered, it has always manifested. So
Yeah.
I usually don't have to wait for 2 years. When we try to control the outcome too much, then what happens is that we are saying, I don't trust you, universe. I'm trying to control the outcome too much, and I'm not letting you have that space to manifest it for me.
And when people say things like things happen when you least expect it, it's
Yeah,
almost like that same old saying in our culture, in British culture, oh, it will
yeah.
happen when you least expect it. It's that surrender, and for some people that's hard, to completely surrender.
Hmm.
um but and you do at times. I think people do at times, but it's that consistency of doing it always.
Basically, having faith in the universe, because
Mm.
I believe that faith is the opposite of fear. So if the fear is high, then I will have low faith. If I'm very much worried about what I want to manifest, that means that I'm not trusting the universe.
Mm.
But when my faith is high, the fear will automatically go down because I will be relaxed then. I know that the universe will take care of me. It's like that.
Yeah. It's yeah, to be able to get to that point, I think for a lot of people would be yeah, it must take, I don't know if it takes a lot of time, or some people can just accept that and others have a little
Hmm.
bit more natural resistance. When we're talking, when you're talking about this, it goes down to something that I think for a lot of people we think of as the law of attraction, and I think you've mentioned that previously. Is that the same sort of uh, lines in which you believe, that same sort of theory? Is it
It's
similar?
you can say it's similar, but it goes deeper actually. And the law of attraction, in that it's mostly about kind of in having thoughts or doing some activity to get what you want. For example, visualizing, doing affirmations and all those things. They are wonderful. It's wonderful. But what I believe that manifestation is about being more than doing. So it's about what you become yourself, what you feel about yourself. Uh, So, for example, if you wish to manifest love in your life, now if you talk about the standard law of attraction practices, then you will think about love, you will visualize it, you will do affirmations and all those things, which is wonderful. But unless and until you become love yourself, you cannot attract love.
Mm.
So becoming, being, that is what I believe in the sense that unless and until your heart is open, unless and until you are radiating that love and sharing that love with others, it becomes it becomes difficult to have that in your life. So for me, it is manifestation is from a state of being rather than doing all those practices of visualizing and affirmations, which help, but uh, I think I have transcended that now. For me, it's more of being.
Would the practice be then that you would um, think about the love which you have for yourself, or how would that what would that look like?
Yeah, both love for yourself and also like becoming love and sharing that love to others.
Mm-hmm.
When you are kind of a beacon of love, because a lot of times what happens is that we want love from others, but we are not ready to give it to others, right? So we expect the other person to, like, propose us, to do things for us, to care for us. But why do we have to wait for that? Why can't we ourselves, become love and do that for others and
Mm.
share that? When we need things from outside, when we want love from outside, it only shows our lack of love. We want someone else to fill that gap within us, and we are then kind of becoming desperate to want it. But when you share love, it shows that you are full of love. You have loved yourself enough. You are now whole and complete, and that love is overflowing from you, and now you share it with others. It's like you cannot, share from an empty cup. You can only share when you have an overflowing cup. So that's what I believe in. And then doing all those practices, so you can ask yourself, how will a loving person behave? If I want to attract love in my life, I first have to become love. So how will that loving person behave? Okay, then I will maybe, take care of people and ask people how they are doing, and do something special for them. Or maybe I will, let's take another example. If I'm talking about abundance, then how will, first, to get abundance, I first have to become abundant myself. And then I can ask this question to myself: how will an abundant person behave? Will I worry about, or will I stress about my monthly income? Will I be worrying about small expenses? Or maybe I can start behaving as an abundant person. Maybe I can have gratitude for whatever I have. Maybe I can, even share with others and give to others, because when we give to others, it seems that we are an abundant person. Only abundant people can give to others. So maybe you can start sharing a little bit with others, and that will make you feel abundant. So it's all about building that feeling, becoming that person yourself, and then attracting it. It's like when you
and if you do that, the law of the way the world works, the way the universe works, would then bring that to you.
yeah, you will kind
As
of
long as
become,
you don't rely too much on that outcome. It's complicated.
you'll become that magnet, because it is about frequency. For example, if you see a person who is very loving, you will automatically be attracted to that person, isn't it? But if a person is not ready to give love, but they are just asking for it, you might turn away from that person. So when we become that, we kind of attract all those things that we automatically attract, that what we want in our life. Yeah.
How and so as a teacher, how often, if we could put a percentage on it, that you are feeling you're on that higher let's call it a higher vibration of being love, being prosperous, being abundance, feeling all
Mm.
those things, as a percentage, if this is your job,
Yeah.
what percentage would you say that you are on that higher vibration? Do you have now days where you struggle, or where you wobble? How
Yeah, no, it is percentage wise, I would say it would be almost half of the time.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better then.
But
And
the
that's
good,
okay. That's
and
okay. So
that's
it still
okay.
works. It still works for
Yeah,
you, even if it is half the time.
yeah, because it's all about being conscious or unconscious. Unconsciously, we can get into the trap of lower vibration, because if I'm not aware, then I will say things like, "Oh, why is this happening to me? Why me?" All those victim-based questions, or why my partner is doing this to me, or then I will, just be sad about things. But the moment I become present and conscious, the moment I see what I'm doing, and I realize, oh, I just made a statement which is a victim-based statement, or I just did something which is an act of lack and not abundance. So then I can change it. So it's all
Yeah.
about becoming present. The more present and conscious we become and observe ourselves, what we are doing, the more we can get into that state of being.
So now I can completely relate to that. That is completely relatable. Like when you said 50%, and I do feel like after listening to this, let's say I've been, listening to meditation on a regular basis for about 2 years, and different types of meditation, from sleep to manifestations. When I say something, I do get that, oh, that is a victim statement, or that is not, it's a conscious mistake, or I stop myself from saying it. But
Yeah.
sometimes I really want to say it. My brain still really wants to say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that definitely is very relatable. Saqib, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. And it's very exciting because I've finally got to meet the man behind the voice. So yeah, thank you very much.